if we, in the summer, if we wanted to cool off, we went to the river.
Live stream's up.
We're live.
Now we're really alive. Alrighty, the time is now 1 p.m. We're coming back into session from our morning meeting to cover land use items. Amanda, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Thayer?
Here.
Commissioner Pettit?
Here. Alrighty. We have 3 items on the agenda. All 3 are special uses by review that were posted and advertised for this date. However, 2 of them still have some information that's required before we can hear them. So we will continue those 2, those being the Messer Event Center and the Silver Creek Sporting Club. So with that, I'd accept a motion to open and continue to a date time certain of January 13th at 1 p.m. of the Messer Event Center SUR.
I'll make a motion that we open Messer Event Center SUR 19-0099 and continue to a date certain of January 13th, 2021 at 1 p.m.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue the Messer Event Center SUR until January 13th of 2021 at 1 p.m. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I'd accept a motion to close this hearing session on Messer Event Center.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to close this hearing session on Messer Event Center. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Just to move this along, I'd go ahead and we'll continue the second one as well. So I'll take a motion to open and continue the Silver Creek Sporting Club SUR until 1 p.m. on November 18th.
I'll make a motion that we open Silver Creek Sporting Club SU 18-0067 and continue to a date certain of November 18th, 2020 at 1 p.m.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to open and continue to the date time certain of November 18th at 1 p.m. the Silver Creek Sporting Club SUR. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And I would accept a motion to close this portion of the hearing on Silver Creek Sporting Club.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to close this session on the Silver Creek Sporting Club SUR at this time. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Alrighty. Now we'll try some real work. I accept a motion to open the SUR for Matheson Tower.
I'll make a motion that we open Matheson Tower SU 20-0021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to open the Matheson Tower SUR SU 20-0021. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're in public hearing. Okay, so just the general, excuse me, the general process for all these hearings is the staff will provide a presentation overview of the project that we're considering. We will then may have questions of the staff at that time or not. That'll be followed by the applicant to provide any additional information for consideration, as well as take questions from the board. At that point, we'll open for public comment and then invite the applicant back if there's other public comment items that need to be addressed. And then at that point, we'll make a decision to either approve, disapprove, or continue. So with that, Christina, the floor is yours.
So Christina Stanton, CDS Director, and again, this is the special use by review for Matheson Tower SU 20-0021, which is a request for a special use by review to allow for the construction of a 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunication tower on approximately 138 acres located at 20631 County Road 149, Matheson. Date, timeline, property owner, Mark and Tara Hernandez, applicants, Kyle Donardo with Industrial Tower West Inc. Again, the property total is 138 acres, but I believe the lease area for the tower is only about 22,500 square feet. Pre-app meeting was held March 5th, 2020. Community meeting was May 12th, 2020 over Zoom. We had a couple submittals and revisions. The original submittal was June 29th, 2020, and we had referral process from July 2nd through July 23rd. Resubmittal addressing comments from staff and referral agencies was August 13th, and we had Planning Commission on October 6th. We're here for Board of County Commissioners October 28th. Mailed notice was sent out to property owners within 1,320 feet of the subject property boundary on September 8th. The sign was posted on September 21st and published within the Elbert County newspaper on September 17th. So this shows zoning map, which is in the packets. So you can see the larger area of the property that's ag and all the ag properties surrounding. That it sits back a little ways from the highway, and I've kind of got a little symbol on there showing approximately where it is on this property here. Same thing, except for this piece is just the aerial, so you can get an idea of what some of the terrain may look like further to the north in the vicinities. You can see some of the areas that may be a little bit lower lying. As I understand this tower does sit down in elevation, and there are some reasons that the applicant can explain that better, how that works for towers and providing services to the neighborhood there. So this is the proposed SUR exhibit. This first sheet basically shows general vicinity map, has our signature blocks, and some very basic information for telecommunication tower type applications. Then you run into the next sheet in, which has where it sits on the property in relation to the property line, the fencing that we're going to have around it, and elevation. And some other details as far as the antennas and how it's set up and the generator. This has some more information pertaining to that generator there. So those were the exhibit sheets. Again, like I said, the referrals were sent out on July 2nd, 2020 to the following agencies: Public Works, the Office of Emergency Management, Sheriff's Office, Big Sandy School Districts, Town of Simla, Elbert County Communications Authority, sent to Representative Dave Fisher, and Philip 66. MVEA should be on that list. They did respond that they had no objection. I did not have much response from anybody else that I can recollect. We did have a response later on from ECA, and we have their requested requirements as one of the conditions of approval. So the special use by review, just like all other special uses, are evaluated utilizing criteria listed in Article 3E 5A through H of the Elbert County zoning regulations. A states whether the use is in harmony and compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. Staff's comment here is that the proposed use of a 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunication tower on the 138-acre property sited approximately 361 feet from the northern property line and approximately 431 feet from the western or rear property line is in harmony and compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. B, whether the use will not have an undue burden on available infrastructure. It is not anticipated that the proposed use of the 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunications tower will have an undue burden upon the available infrastructure. C, whether the use will not unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. It's not anticipated that the 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunication tower will unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the existing road system, especially since it is planned to be an unmanned tower and will only have occasional traffic for maintenance. D, whether the use will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. The proposed 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunication tower will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. FAA does not require lighting if it's below 200 feet, so they don't have to light this tower. E, whether all sanitation requirements will be met. Again, this is an unmanned telecommunication tower, so no restrooms are required. F, whether the use will be adequately landscaped, buffered, and screened. The proposed 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunications tower will be adequately landscaped, buffered, and screened by the considerable distance from the right-of-way. The base of the tower will be screened by the combination of the distance from the right-of-way, the lower elevation, and proposed security fencing, as well as existing vegetation. And staff, basically considering all those factors, we don't believe that there's any need to have additional plantings. They would not be visible from that distance. Whether the use will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. The proposed 195-foot self-supporting lattice telecommunications tower will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. F, whether supplemental standards are met for the specific use as applicable. The land use table does indicate that there are supplemental standards for this type of land use. Staff has reviewed those, primarily having to do with FCC, FAA, and setbacks for the tower, and all supplemental standards for this use, which are found in Article VE8 or 5E8, the proposed telecommunication tower meets or exceeds those standards. In addition to the zoning regulations, staff reviewed the application against the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan, and the project supports the stated goal that Elbert County supports plans and policies to reduce the impacts of natural hazards to the people, property, and environment of Elbert County, and the policy HM5. The county should improve communication and coordination of mitigation activities between federal, state, and local governments with private and nonprofit organizations. Findings 1 through 5 here: general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. 2, meets criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. 3, Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to this application. 4, compatible with existing and allowed land uses in the surrounding area. And 5, will not result in significant impacts to health, safety, and welfare of residents and landowners of the surrounding area. Planning Commission and staff are recommending to the BOCC approval of SU 20-0021 subject conditions 1 through 5. So conditions of approval: number 1, the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of a decision by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, the special use by review shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the special use by review exhibit is recorded. 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. 4, the existing residential driveway shall be upgraded to commercial driveway standards at least 20 feet back from the road. And 5, the tower owner shall provide ECHA, which is the Elbert County Communications Authority, with 2 10-foot vertical slots on this tower at locations to be negotiated for future use for emergency communications facilities and antennas. This space is to be provided at no cost to ECHA. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for staff at this time? Okay. Well, with that, I invite the applicant to present. And I'm sure you will, but if you could just cover what capabilities this provides, what difference it makes for the area.
Okay, so good afternoon, Commissioners, staff. My name is Kyle Bernardo with Industrial Tower West and Bureau Wireless. I want to thank staff for that presentation. It did cover most of the items that I'd like for it to cover. We have had a chance to review the conditions of approval, and we accept all of those conditions. As staff did note in their presentation, this tower is lower than the other tower in the area, and the reason being is Industrial Tower West and Bureau Wireless provide to rural communities. Now that other towers that sit in higher elevation that are further away from all those communities, that's strictly for highway coverage. That tower that's, I think it's a little over 3/4 mile away than this one. If you ever take a closer look at it, there's really no panel antennas on it. It is really just for that highway. Our goal with this tower is, first off, to cover Matheson, and then to increase our coverage from all the way on the 24 leading up the line. At this time, we have nothing further to add. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Questions? No, to me it was relatively straightforward, so. At this time, I'd invite if there's any public comment on this item, we'll take that. Yeah, these were not in relation to, okay, so seeing none, I'd close public comment at this time. Any final comments or questions?
I have no comment.
Okay. Alrighty. Nor do I. It's very straightforward. Actually, it should be an improvement for the folks that live out there as well as our emergency responders. So I would accept a motion to approve this application.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Matheson Tower SUR SU-20-0021, and the applicant has accepted the conditions of approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this application with the conditions as listed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I would accept a motion to close public hearing at this time.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing on Matheson Tower, SU 20-0021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close public hearing on Matheson Tower SUR. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We're out of public hearing. Thank you. Okay, that was the last item we had for land use business. We've got a few folks that had wanted to have either comment or concerns, I guess, on, I'm assuming this is the Meadow Station, or excuse me, Spring Valley Ranches DGA that just went through a community meeting. At this point, just so everybody knows, we do not have an application. An application was submitted to the county and then withdrawn.
This is just a discussion item. We just have a discussion.
Okay, yeah, so, Susan, you were first. If you could just use the mic since we are recording and transmitting.
Actually, I wasn't going to necessarily start out about Spring Valley Ranch. I had some other things I wanted to ask about.
Oh,
So if
that-
you want to start with Spring Valley Ranch, go ahead, since he's already brought it up. Okay. And I do have some I can add to present afterwards.
So, I want to read this carefully.
Yeah,
because I want-
okay, if you could just your name and address for the record.
Oh, Candace Head Dilla, and our address is 446 Meadow Station Circle. And I want to get this right because I'm actually expressing what I understand is the view of a fairly large and growing group of people. We want to make absolutely sure that you commissioners give the appropriate directions to county staff and to the planning commission about Jim Marshall's proposed DGA 3. Now, we know that staff and the planning commission are often told to look just at the document in front of them and not to worry about what has come before. That is not going to do in this instance. So we think that you're going to find that the taxpayers are very tired of that, and we're not going to stand for it once they understand what's at stake here. So DGA 3 is not a new plan. It's an attempt to renegotiate DGA 2, Development Guide 2. And you can either say, no, we have a deal, stick to it, Mr. Marshall and partners, or you must fulfill your fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers and negotiate a better deal for us, not the developer. So we're asking you to see this in a different way and to act a little bit differently than you may have done in the past. DGA 2 has Marshall and his partners paying for 16 miles of road with pitifully low impact fees according to surrounding and similar areas. He wants to only build now 7 miles of road and still keep those low impact fees. You can tell right off that's not a good deal for us, the taxpayers. Nobody held a gun to Mr. Marshall's head and his partners' heads when they signed DGA 2. So now if he wants to build fewer roads and not live by that deal that he made, then we get to renegotiate the impact fees and at least double, if not quadruple them, so the county can build roads without raising taxes. Stick with your deal, or let's get those impact fees up where we need them to actually offset the impact of these new homes. The impact fees that he's being charged are so much less than Adams County, at least half of surrounding areas. So that's basically it. If you want to ask us some questions, we're happy to hear it. But we do not want this to be business as usual. I hope you're understanding and hearing that.
No, I appreciate that, and I would say just at this point, just to keep everything clean, and I know the last iteration of DGA 3 did wind up in court. I don't want to cross any lines where we're doing anything ex parte.
Right.
I think
Great.
we've heard your points and consider them, but if we get into too much back and forth,
That's great.
we could be potentially accused of
Yeah,
speaking out of turn.
thank you.
Thank you. Steve, did you want to speak as well, or? Okay,
No, thanks. I think it's been said.
okay, thank you. Alrighty, Susan, the time is yours.
Okay. Well, my name is Susan Rudman. I live at 24 Meadow Station Road. Actually, in speaking of impact fees, I have a question of impact fees, what they are derived from, and how do they project what I'm seeing as impact fee is basically what will become their taxes, the individual home taxes. Is that correct? Can anybody speak to that? Or can you direct me to somebody that can?
Might be easier to take outside the meeting, but generally, and we do have impact fees are intended to defray or cover the impacts of development on the broader community.
Right.
So in order to charge an impact fee, you have to have what's considered they call it a nexus study. What's the nexus between the development and the broader impacts? And we've got an ongoing study currently. It's been about 10 years since such a study was done. Fees have increased, generally have had an escalator based on inflation, but as we move 10 years away, we need to kind of reset, and those broader impacts are based on plans that the county has in place. We've got a transportation plan ongoing that will articulate what transportation needs we see out to the future. We've got fairgrounds improvement plans that may be tied to the Parks and Recreation fee. So they're not a tax but a fee. And it's at the simpler level, they're generally applied per residence, or if it's a commercial development, it'll be on kind of what is planned at the site and what impact it has had. So.
Okay. Does it?
Just before you go on, then when you said that it would be part of taxation, I think you're confusing the impact fees with special districts.
No, that's
Because
not right.
they do have a mill levy.
Yeah, the tax that a homeowner would pay on their home after they purchase the home, have your yearly taxes. Because when you look at the impact fee, it had, road and bridge, fire,
The impact fee is a fee that is levied against the initial capital construction of improvements.
It doesn't.
The later, like road and bridge, mill levy would cover the maintenance of roadways that have been accepted.
So they don't dictate, that doesn't dictate?
No.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you, sorry.
You're very welcome.
And then I wondered, in Spring Valley Ranch, there was a gray water system that, and I don't know if this goes to this committee or not, but since it had to do with water, I thought that it might. If not, again, just let me know and I'll find the other avenues for discussion. But so far, that gray water system or purple pipe or however you refer to it has not been initiated, and we're just wondering why it hasn't. And since they've already had flooding issues there, I don't know that that would make a difference with it, but is that gray water system?
And kind of speaking out of turn, because again, I think you might have the draft that was withdrawn that I haven't seen. My understanding is future phases of Spring Valley would have that similar recycling, but the water treatment, the approval of design, the inspections and the regulation of the operation of those is under the state purview. So it is something that we would consider in terms of what is the overall water usage that's projected. But
I thought that was in DGA too.
oh, it may have been.
It is, and that's your contract with them right now.
Okay, I'll take that at the moment. I don't have them in front of me. This wasn't.
Okay. All right. And then I wondered, there was a firehouse that was in some of the the drawings of the development, there was a firehouse. And we were told at the community meeting, because when I drove through, it looks like the firehouse is where there's a RV storage lot now. So that was questioned at the community meeting, and he said, oh, there won't be a firehouse there anymore, it's gonna be down south, and he indicated somewhere south of Singing Hill, but it was not indicated on his map. Do we know if there is going to be another fire station put in there or not?
Being asked about future
Yeah.
application, we cannot comment on.
Not,
Well, he commented on it at the community,
okay.
which is why I'm.
Yeah, if there's an application coming before the county, it cannot be commented on before it's heard by, it's submitted by the applicant and heard by the commissioners.
Well, that's.
Yeah, okay.
But-
Before we get too far astray here, I would say it is not uncommon for developers to dedicate land for future construction of fire stations, schools, etc. That construction usually becomes if they accept the land dedication, the future construction is really on that district, but any application that came before us would be referred, and the fire district responsible would be looking at a plan to make sure fire coverage was adequate, or would have comment back to ensure that their responsibility to provide fire coverage would be covered.
So that wouldn't fall under any of the county jurisdiction, is that what you're saying? It would strictly be with the fire
Well,
department?
they're the subject matter experts on what's required to provide adequate fire protection, so if
Okay.
what is presented to them seems inadequate, I have no doubt that
Okay.
their comments would come back.
Okay. And sir, you do have DGA two, which is a legal binding document that you folks and the developer have signed, so I'm speaking to DGA two.
You're talking about the applicant or future applicant just having a community meeting, which is involved with the future application.
Okay, but that developer and the county have a legal binding agreement, that is the Spring Valley Ranch Development Guide Agreement, and it is a legal and binding document. And in that document, it says that there will be a fire station, so that's why I'm questioning it, and I guess I'm confused, because I don't feel like you're accepting the fact that DGA two is a legal binding document.
Again, without having it in front of us, most items within DGAs have triggers. There may not have been triggers met to construct, and I don't know if there's a fire. You're telling me that I'm not looking at it.
Okay.
I don't know if he dedicated land for a firehouse or was going to build a firehouse. I don't have it.
All right, one other thing I wondered about, the windmill farm, that has all been done and signed and everything, is that correct? That's a done deal?
Been constructed, yes ma'am. It's
Okay.
been operating for a year and a half
A
at this
year and
point.
a half? Okay, I just was curious, when you went for that bid, did you put the bid out to other windmill farms?
That was not the project that the county initiated. That was an application for special use of those lands.
Okay, gotcha.
So, the windmill farm itself worked with property. Each of those towers is on a piece of leased property. Everything was negotiated separately, and that also went through the Public Utilities Commission in terms of the general location of the farm, the wind farm, and the transmission lines before coming to us.
Okay, all right. Okay. I still am confused about why DGA two, why you're supposed, it seems as though you're not knowledgeable about DGA two, I don't understand that.
It's one of thousands of projects that have happened we came prepared for the three
Okay.
items we have today. I'll take a look at it if we're meeting tomorrow to
Okay,
have a cup of coffee. I'll
okay,
happily look through it before we meet.
okay, thank you, that'd be good.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.
If we have no other business before us, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll second.
I heard that. So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.